morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're hearing me from. My name is Oluwakemi Odusanya, the one and only Eagle's voice. No other person can do what can bear that. I'm telling you that for sure. Anyways, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my social media outlet where we pass the message across to you about everything, anything, and the most important of it all. I would use this medium to say a very big apology to everyone that might have been, trying to connect to me via YouTube channel. We just have a little bit of technical issue, but I promise you we will definitely get it sorted for next episode. Okay? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Okay. So enough of that craziness. Let's go down to the main domain. I am doing this very beautiful episode not alone, the maiden edition of Eagle's Voice, where we'll be talking to a social visionary, we'll be talking to a social change maker, someone who wants to break the ice, or who has even started breaking the ice. What do you think about it? In a GIF, you would be hearing about Robert Malunda. Does that name ring a bell? I bet it does. But before then, I would like you to remember from the words of Greg Kindry. He said, no matter how much falls on you, you will still keep plowing ahead. And that is what we are promoting on Eagles channels, the voice of blind women in Nigeria, across Africa, in all over the continent. Regardless of your disability, regardless of your blindness, you still need to forge ahead. So talking about blindness, let's meet my maiden guest, my wonderful, handsome, huge man. Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, Robert. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. And good greetings to all the viewers and listeners.
Yes. Greetings to everybody. Say hi, like do your hand wave hi.
Hi.
Okay. So let's go down to business. Who is Robert Malunda?
Thank you so much. Robert Malunda is a totally blind 34-year-old from Zimbabwe.
You can speak up a little bit, yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
And I am the founder and director of Gateway to Elation, an initiative of opening a gateway to the world for the blind by providing training in computer literacy and daily living skills.
Wow. But basically you talk about providing this for the blind. That is actually catchy. Why you? Why must you provide things for the blind?
Well, thank you. Because when I was young, I faced a lot of challenges in accessing information at school and even for my personal needs. So, Braille textbooks and Braille things and other equipment, they were very expensive. So I thought of a way when I was at college of how, as blind people, how could we break this barrier of accessing information, because information and knowledge is power for everyone. So everyone needs to access information. I researched on what method can we use, what cheaper method can we use, because like I said, materials were very expensive even up to now. But I came across a computer, and then I thought, because that was around 2010 and the computers were fairly new in our university. I then thought, could there be a computer for the blind, like a specific computer for the blind, so that they could also access information. But I discovered that blind people can use any other computer, even the most affordable one, with the help of what we call a voice synthesizer or a screen reader. So I then applied. Before I applied, I and my friends, we tried to learn the software, including my sighted assistant called Tinashe. Excuse me, Tinashe's Mondi. He really helped me very much in learning this software. But though I took it over from there because he couldn't understand what the screen reader was, so I had to explore more. So after seeing that there is an opportunity for us as blind people to access information, I decided to start like a small community group where I shared with my blind friends. But then in 2015, I got a scholarship to be at Cantar International, which is where I learned how to start and run a social venture. So I've been through this, and so that is why I feel that's why I started this all this program.
But basically, before now, when you talk about blindness, you mainly hear people talk about ICT, talk about Braille, talk about white cane, and all of that. And now you are will I be right if I say you are indifferent, right? Because you are talking of ICT, you are talking of living skills and all of that. But what exactly stands you out? What exactly should people, look at Gateway Tuition and say, no, okay, this is actually extraordinary. So what exactly stands you?
The fact that we combine three things at once and deliver that product to our blind people with the hope that they become part of the community makes the work of Gateway Tuition unique, because we combine three things. First of all, we have computer literacy, where we open up the world of information for our blind participants. We also then included mobility and orientation, because we saw that if blind people are only taught on ICT and computer literacy, they can become isolated, which is very bad. Because a computer has got everything inside, but a person needs to go out and explore the world using their white cane. So that is why I introduced mobility. Then the third tier of our program is social interaction, which is where we are saying blind people need to be able to interact with firstly among themselves and as blind people and with their sighted counterparts. So these three things, they are broad, but we managed to combine them and break them into formidable chunks for our participants.
Talking about the combination of this, then viewers, I must tell you that Robert Malunda is the 5th edition of Oman Prizes, one of the awardee, right, who went home with a whooping $25,000, right? As in, give it up for Malunda of the Gateway Tuition Foundation, because or rather organization, because he is really doing well. He has tried, he is still trying to ensure that blindness is a thing of the past. Blindness is integrated in the society in the country of Zimbabwe, and I can assure you can go on the website. What's your website, please?
My website is www.gatewaytuition.org.
Okay, but before I dive deeper into the discussion of the day, if you are just tuning in, I'm saying a very big welcome to you, because hey, without you we would not be here, and without the challenges, without the change we want to see in the society, we would definitely not be here. And that is why we are actually here to exchange words, ideas, to connect you to social visionaries, to ensure that you get the right information at the right time. A lot of persons have blind people or persons with disability within in their family lineage, their friends, but they don't know how to go about it. But hey, I hope with this interaction with Robert, you will have a change of mind that blindness is just a thing of the mind. You can do exactly everything and anything you want to do, right? So Robert,
Yes.
I quite understand that at the age in 2011 you got access to the computer, which gave you like an edge to every other person, and you started learning on your own, and with this that drew your desire to want to change the world about blindness. But there is no smoke without a fire. There must be like a little challenge or challenges that go along the way. What are your challenges, and how are you able to combat them?
Thank you for this very important question. And we are, as me and my team as Gateway Tuition, we are running as a non-profit. So which means we depend on fundraising on donors and for our projects, because we deliver these programs free of charge to our participants, because poverty and disability are Trend. So if we begin to charge our participants, then we won't make the impact that we will be looking for. So we do our services free of charge. So which means we depend on people who donate towards our work. And then the other, so the first challenge would be financial. So we need more donors to the program. Then the other challenge is running an NGO in a country like Zimbabwe. Sometimes it's a little difficult because of the new rules which pop in and pop out.
What kind of rules, so that people will get to understand?
Okay. So we in Zimbabwe we have the new private voluntary organization bill. It's still a bill which will give the government power over all NGOs. So the government will then be allowed to appoint board members or people to the board. But for us, I think it won't be a problem, since they are looking for political organizations. And unless if they look for anything further than that, then maybe we don't know. So, and then the other challenge is lack of, because for now I'm running as a mobile school, so which means I need to have methods of carrying my equipment, like laptops, especially if I'm going to rural areas where there are no libraries, there are no schools, there are no public centers with internet or laptops. Then it means we will have to carry all our equipment. But in some places, like in the cities, they do have public libraries and so on. So we may use the available resources. But in some places, like in remote areas, because most blind people are in rural areas, because that's where the information is lacking, especially. So that means we have to carry our own equipment. So we need a way to, maybe if we could
mobilize
maybe if we could have a center, maybe in future, where people can come and stay and learn.
Okay, like a residential.
A residential training program for a short period, where people can just come for a short period to learn, and then they go back and implement what they would have learned. So those are some of the challenges.
Okay, so I'm gonna pinch you where it might look so ticklish, kind of. Now, I understand you're married, right?
Yes.
How do you cope with your marital life and your survival to want to change the society, especially putting forward that you cannot see? How do you do that?
Okay, so marriage is not it's not a challenge as such, because if you choose the right person, they can become a resource. They can become.
Well, you cannot see. How did you choose the right person? I'm sure that's a question
you know these things.
I know, but my viewers don't know. So
okay. I mean them, the viewers. They know true love is that kind of
true love
thing.
Doesn't have eyes, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have ears. It doesn't have any discrimination. So true love just looks at love itself more than any of these other additionals like beauties. But my wife is beautiful, I know.
Aww.
But I know. But that doesn't count towards that. So if you marry someone who really is into your life, they can be able to assist you, so they can be resourceful in a way, and that really makes life easier.
Wow.
But we are not all of us are always like, I know,
but let me kind of like be the devil's advocate here, because a lot of things have been happening in Nigeria. Even for someone, I know of a Philippine that was saying, when it comes to blind women rather, when it comes to blind women, it's very hard for them to get married. It's easier for a blind man to get married than a blind woman to get married. It's very challenging because I cannot see, is it true?
If you look at it from bird's eye view, it seems like it's true, but you need to dig deeper. You need to go deeper.
What do you mean by go deeper?
You need to go deeper and find out, really get close to the blind.
Well, you are working with the blind boys and girls, or men and women. So what do you think? You are a blind man that is married. Are you telling me what exactly? Why did you say it's true? Because I want to know.
I'm saying if you are looking at it like from a bird's eye view,
Yeah.
like you are just looking it over, you don't look at the details of what is happening. You might think it's true, but to an extent, life is. I mean, a relationship life is hard for both blind men and blind women, uh, because. Maybe it could be a choice of relationships that people decide to have. Maybe if someone says, I only want to get married to a sighted person, uh, if they don't find that sighted person, it means they won't get married, or they'll get married late. Or maybe someone will throw the towel and deny themselves and decide to get married to anyone whom, even if they don't love, they just want to get to be with someone. They just want to be engaged with someone. So that makes life difficult, because you move from person to person. But for me, I believe that both blind men, blind boys, blind girls can have a person of their choice uh, if they become principled and know what they want. They need to know what they want, and they also need to have information. Yeah, we always go back to the world of information, because there's a lot more than love. One of my inspirers once said, "Love doesn't buy bread, doesn't buy food." So you need to look beyond love. What
boys.
happens? What happens if this love how can we still stay together? So my message to
The blind
to
women,
the blind
everybody,
women
yeah.
mostly is, please know what you want from a relationship.
One.
Yeah, and be focused on what will happen beyond love, because marriage, I always tell people that marriage is a lifetime, especially if you decide to get married like proper, have a ring in a church or in a whatever religion you are. It's a lifetime. Divorce is so shameful somehow, but so blind women need to know what they want, and they need to be themselves. Yeah. And for our sighted friends, well, we as blind people, we are people. Like, that's why we are saying
Please
blind
tell them.
people. Yeah, we are people. So whatever happens
sake
to
of peace.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever happens to us is also what happens to sighted people. There's nothing peculiar, and we can't. Blind people are not angels. We are not angels. We are people like all sighted people. So we make mistakes. We make good things. We are people, so we are vulnerable to all things which affect people.
Interesting. Actually, if I allow Robert to keep going, I'm sure we're going to talk for too longer time. But before we wrap up this episode, there's something very important which I would like you to bear your mind into, which is something that is globally used, something that some people say, no, something that we might not even understand what it is. That is the word inclusion and integration. What do you think? What's your view about it, and which do you go for?
Okay, I would go for integration.
Okay.
Because when you are integrating, you are starting from the start. You are starting right from the beginning. So, for example, I was talking about the laws of Zimbabwe and NGOs.
Yeah.
Next year we'll be going for elections in 2023. It's a general election for parliament, president, council, and everything. If we are talking about integration, it means we integrate people with disabilities in the electoral process right from the start.
Okay.
Right from the start, blind people or people with disabilities will be there in the formulation of those laws. Then in inclusion, we say they do their things. They do when we are about to vote. Then they will say, by the way, they are blind people. How do we include them? So the process would already have gone. It would have moved already. So that's why I want blind people to be out there through gateway relation, because I want them to be counted The truth is politics rule the world. So they, we as blind people, we need to be counted. We need to be seen. We need to be heard. So, and for that, we need to be integrated.
Wow, interesting. So, my people, you've heard about inclusion, integration, but tell me, what's the fun fact about your blindness?
Fun facts.
Yeah, about your blindness.
Besides the fact that I can read at night
The
using
what?
braille,
Okay.
I can, for example, ignore a lot of ambient things.
Just like I've been calling you things and you ignored me.
No, that
Okay.
one
It's
is
a
phone.
different
Yeah,
case.
that one
Okay.
is phone related.
Alright.
Like if a sighted person is here, if they see a dog,
Okay.
they will turn
No,
their head.
Visual, okay.
They can turn their head towards that. But well, I don't know. Maybe I'm sitting here. Maybe there's something.
a dog or something.
There's a
you might
dog.
know.
Maybe there's something approaching. But I'm
Yeah.
still focused. So
Wow.
the one fun fact about my blindness is focus. I
Focus.
stay focused. I don't get distracted easily, unless, but I don't know. I don't really get distracted.
I think I've seen that in you. Like I'll be talking to Robert will just be pressing his phone. I'm not like what? Okay. So basically, this channel, right? The aim of this broadcast is to lift up souls, is to enlighten, is to educate, and also entertain people about
Right.
social visionaries, about change makers, right?
Yes.
But you as Gateway to Lation, because we're going to be letting you go off very soon, right? So you as Gateway to Lation, in the next 2 years, what do you want people to watch out for you as your organization concerned, and as you as an individual in the next 2 years? That's from now to 2 years.
Watch out, watch out. You need to be on the lookout. Okay, so the vision of Gateway to Lation is to see a Zimbabwe which is knowledgeable, independent, and socially active blind people. So in these 2 years, especially as we approach the elections and 1 year after, I want us to be able to reach out to members of parliament to enact, because we currently do not have proper laws for which speak to
The
disability.
national disability law. You don't
Yes,
have it?
we do. The president, His Excellency, released the national disability policy last year, but it is not yet implemented. But we want also to see the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, the
UNCRPD.
famous
Yeah, right.
UNCRPD.
Yeah.
We would like it to be
Domesticated in
because
your
for
country.
us,
Okay.
for us, it was signed by the late President Robert Mugabe in
Yeah.
2018. So it hasn't been domesticated.
Oh.
So we need to pick out some articles from there. There are very good articles there,
Yeah.
which we can use.
Sure.
And the one thing that I liked about this UNCRPD is that you can pick and choose articles that you think you can
Sure.
work with as
Article
a country.
9, Article this, Article 6, and
so
all that.
maybe we could harmonize our national disability policy and pick up some of those UNCRPD policies as well, articles. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you for this very important question.
It's very, very important, and I believe that someone will know someone, or this message will definitely pass across to somebody that would just change the country of Zimbabwe by ensuring that this dream of Robert comes to life. It's very important for persons with disability, because it's not enough to say, oh, we want to change the narrative, we want to change the mindset, but if there are no proper laws that also protect persons with disability, becomes a challenge actually. And I would like to use this medium to plead to the current president of Zimbabwe to please look into the plight of persons with disability in Zimbabwe, and ensure that this come to a pass in the lives of persons with disability in Zimbabwe. And at this juncture, I would like to say a very, very big thank you for joining us on the maiden edition of Eagle's Voice, where we talk to social visionaries where we say something that you might perhaps not have heard about. I know you have one or two questions. You can drop it in the comment box. You can drop it, send us a message. Definitely, we would definitely get back to you. But for you out there who might be thinking, I want to reach out to Robert. I want to get to a solution. I have a blind person in Zimbabwe. Definitely, Robert is going to drop his social media handles where you can reach out to him, and his website as well, and get connected to the one and only Robotic Robot. And
nice name from Kemi.
I'm sure you will
Thank
definitely,
you,
hear a lot about him. So at this juncture, can you drop your social media handles?
Okay, so you find me on Twitter. It's at Malunda or at Elation Gateway.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, Robert Malunda at Elation Gateway. And basically, I'm on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay. So
and my website, gateway2elation.org, www.gateway2elation.org. Actually, the website has more content.
Okay, I'm going to be dropping it on the comment box so that you can get to know the website and the social media handle. And I'm also using this current episode to say thank you to our #1 chicken biryani. I know you don't know what I'm saying, but it's the man behind the camera, the one and only Balo, the one and only Street Daddy, the one and only Akin Foundation, to say a very big thank you to his support. He's been our backbone for this first episode, and I pray that he continues to do a very good job for us moving further as well. And to every other crew, my roommates of life, Eltrude Okiyo from Kenya, and also Nduku Louis to TB, right? Everybody, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who has joined on this episode. Till next time, don't forget to keep the fire of social visionaries flying. It's very much important. Eagle's voice signing out.
Eagle's voice. It is Barrel.